Anyone who knows me at all knows my love for the MMORPG Runescape. Runescape was one of the first games I'd ever played and was my first multiplayer experience ever. Hell, I love it so much even today that I did a review of both main Runescape servers, Runescape 2007 and Runescape 3. Which you can totally watch by clicking on the screen right now. Now, the creators of Runescape, Jagex Limited, have milked Runescape for a good 16 years now as their main claim to fame. And while that still rings true, the company has tried to branch out to some new genres and new games. Jagex has done this a few good times with some failures, like the never-to-be-released Stellar Dawn, to some minor successes with Ace of Spades, Block and Load, and Carnage Racing. Like seriously, this happened. This actually happened. Recently, Jagex has been more active in doing this, releasing the popular Chronicle RuneScape Legends in May of this year, and recently putting the game that is the subject of this review into early access, RuneScape Idle Adventures. RuneScape Idle Adventures was a bit of a weird announcement. It marked the first time that Jagex has ever worked with an outside partner on a project, hiring on the very talented Hyper Hippo developer to make this game instead of doing it themselves. This does make complete sense, though. RuneScape Idle Adventures, after all, is exactly as advertised, an idle game, which Hyper Hippo are kinda kings at, shown by their hit idle clicker game Adventure Capitalist. Now, RuneScape Idle Adventures, as I said before, is in early access, so when it comes to bugs like the popular 42% loading one, for example, it won't be swaying my review. I want to take a look at the game as it is and not the bugs that can and most likely will be fixed during its stint in early access. RuneScape Idle Adventures starts you off in the RuneScape town of Lumbridge, and like many idle clickers before, it starts you off with a decent tutorial mission to get you started. The basic concept is to level up your skills. You do this by clicking on a certain skill and waiting for the yellow bar in the bottom left corner to fill entirely. You then click the yellow box to complete the level process. Now this can be fast, like with mining here, or slow, like with dungeoneering. Idle Adventures also has quests which can help in the leveling process. Most quests are just do X skill X amount of times in X area, and once you complete all those tasks, you turn in the quest and get a bunch of XP, items, or gems. Now, the numbers associated with each skill show how many blue or red gems is acquired every time the skill timer goes off. These gems are then used to assign villagers to each of one of these skills as you so choose. The more villagers on a skill, the more gems it creates, and the more XP it earns towards leveling up. The more villagers on a skill, the more gems it also costs to put more villagers onto it, and it gets very expensive very fast. That's really the basis of the skills part of the game, and it reflects much like other idle clickers, just with RuneScape-themed skills and rewards. It is meant to be played AFK or in short bursts, and that's the point of it. And honestly, it works perfectly fine from what I can see, and I really find it enjoyable when I'm AFK on another game as well. A pretty good side distraction, but for a game that's entirely free, that's totally okay. Now, the gem colors do have representation. The blue ones are for non-lethal skills, basically skills that do not involve any sort of combat, and the red gems are for skills that do involve combat. Combat in this game is interesting. There are certain dungeons in the world, and going to each brings up a screen where you choose 3 skills to use in the dungeon. Now, these can be changed at any time while in the dungeon, but it's definitely easier to pick your best ones up front. Each of these combat skills chosen has a timer to go off as well. Skills that are fully offensive, like attack and range, are much faster than the passive skills like prayer or defense. The offensive skills can be easily traded out for each other as monsters come up that are weak to certain ones. Their weakness is indicated underneath their health bar. The more passive skills offer certain bonuses. Prayer, for example, does healing, and defense provides a certain blocking chance each time an enemy attacks you. The point of the dungeon is to go through each wave and beat the final boss. Now, these bosses are very tough with huge health bars and generally take a good long time to kill at first. Most bosses also seem to have an exploit, a certain set of skills in the 3-skill combo that makes it so you can either never die or at least nearly never if you're paying some sort of attention. At first, the combat seems fairly solid for an idle clicker, but as you go forward, it seems the dungeons outskill you really fast, and with nearly all combat-based skills being some of the slowest to actually level up to improve them, this makes fighting more of a chore than a reward. Now, with that said, you can buy speed boosts that double your level increase speed, but I don't really see the point in a game like this, but I don't know, maybe I'm just weird like that. With all this said and done, do I think RuneScape Idle Adventures is worth your time? Yeah, I do. Is it a game, though, that you'll sit down and pay attention to and play for hours on end? No. But is it enjoyable to play for a few minutes or off and on while also playing something else? Yes. What game does it go with best if you're going to AFK it and play something else? Well, RuneScape, of course.